Hi everybody, thanks for joining the channel today. Let's talk about finger picks. When you're just playing around the house, bare fingers is usually just fine. When I'm playing, you have the sensitivity, you can feel the strings under your fingers. It's probably the best, as far as just the sensation of playing the guitar, because you have this tactile response. But sometimes you need to project a little bit more. Let's say you're playing with other acoustic instruments in a group, or you're performing and you've got to punch out something, or maybe you want to play something really aggressive, you want a hard driving bass part to it, and then just your thumb's not quite cutting it. Or maybe you're like me, I have really, really soft, brittle nails. I also train martial arts. I'm a judo instructor, and so the grappling and stuff with long fingernails, they get bent back or torn off, and that's always a hard thing. So I don't like keeping my nails too long. I like to keep a little bit of an edge there, but I also have to be careful just because of the potential of them getting hurt or me scratching somebody with the grappling arts like that. So I started using finger picks when I was a teenager. I had a guitar teacher who was really into like the Leo Kottke, John Fahey genre of like what they come to be known as American primitive guitar. And he wore finger picks, and so he suggested that I try doing it. Well, I started out with a thumb pick, and the thumb pick's easy enough to do, and I don't have one of the kinds of thumb picks that I started with. It's a national thumb pick. I'll put a picture of it up here so you can see one. It's just a standard thumb pick. If you go to any music store, you'll find them. They cost you $1 or $2. But looking at finger picks, it was bewildering because there was a lot of different kinds of them. And back in the day, you didn't have YouTube to see what your favorite artist was using. I found out later on that Leo Kottke was using Banjo Fingerpick, and these is what Banjo Fingerpicks look like. I'll kind of put this up here where you can see, and up against that background. And I got these and I put them on, and I said, okay, I put them on like this, on top, like a nail. And of course they didn't work at all. And I'm like, well, what on earth? How could you be like these claw-like things? How could you play with those? And took them to my guitar instructor, and he said, oh no, you don't wear them on top, you wear them on the bottom of your finger like this. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see. And so I got a set, and oops, sorry, I just bumped the microphone there. So I got a set and I put them on, but I just didn't like the feel of them and the clacking up against the strings, the metal strings. It was just kind of I don't know, and they don't stay on really good. That one just went flying off. They're off my ring finger. To get them to stay on, you got to kind of squeeze them in there so they have a little bit of spring action, but then they're kind of cutting into your skin. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the sound of the scratchy metal on metal of the strings. So I went back to the music store to see what else that they had, and lo and behold, they had these plastic thumb pick and finger picks. And so I got something that was like this. Let me kind of hold this up here in front of this guitar. There we go, where you might be able to see that. And so I got these, and my guitar teacher said, well, what you want to do with these, you heat these up, you boil them in water. So you get a little pot, put on the stove, boil them in the water, drop them in there, and they get soft. Then you pull them out with a pair of pliers. A couple of pairs of needle nose pliers is what you need. And you put them in there, and you stick it on your finger. Yes, while it's still hot. You have to suffer for your art, you know. And you stick this on your finger, and then you have to use the pliers to kind of shape it a little bit and get it on there. So this worked a lot better. This was more comfortable than the metal and the steel. And I found another thing. I do something odd with mine that I've never seen anybody else do. If you can look really close here on mine, let's see if I can find this. That's about let me go with this one. This is a little bit lighter in color. If you look here, I'll hold this up against my dark shirt. I think it's maybe a good way to do it. You see the tip of this, where it comes up, my finger goes in, and that's where the tip of my finger would be. And see how it comes up? But there's a little bit of a curve on there. I put a little bit of a lip on there when I'm bending this and it's soft, because they're not like this when you first get them. They just come up in a smooth curve. I put this little lip on it, and it acts almost like a fingernail. It allows you to kind of dig in a little bit more. So another thing you'll see too is that I will mark, once you put these on and measure them to your fingers, they go to a specific finger. So this one, I have a little dollop of nail polish on there, and I just took my wife's nail polish and just put one little dot on there, one little blob. So that's one that goes on my index finger. This one has 2 on the bottom, so that goes on my second finger. Now most banjo players, they just use 2 fingers and a thumb pick. Guitar, use all 3 fingers. You don't use your pinky really. And there's my 3 right there, so I put that on my 3rd finger. So now I have these on here, and as you can see on my fingers, they kind of give a little lip there. Now, in addition to the National Thumb Pick, there's something I discovered over the years. Herco makes a thumb pick that looks like this. It's shaped just like a regular guitar flat pick. Their idea was that this would be used, you could switch from finger picking to flat picking, and I find it's less useful for that than you would think it would be. But it is a good shape, and it does stick to your thumb a little bit better, and the angle and the angles you get from the shape gives you kind of a better feel. So here's my hand. You can see what it looks like now. Thumb pick, this goes on the bottom, on the pad of your thumb, and the picks cover the pad of your fingers. And so if I'm playing now, let's go. Now if you're going to strum, you got to do a little bit differently with finger picks. You can strum down with your thumb pick, but if you try to go up with a thumb pick, you'll find it gets stuck and may even slide off your hand. So you got to do your upstrokes with your fingers. But basically, you're going to use these for finger style. And these allow you to kind of get in between the strings better. You get more volume, more articulation, and it sounds really good. And the downside about this though is that you can't feel the strings under your fingers. So because the pad of your fingers is blocked. So, but this is a pretty good choice, and a lot of guitarists and dobro players, and so to use these, and plus them being plastic on the metal strings, they don't get that clicky kind of sound that you get from the metal on metal. So I like this sound a lot. I sometimes call these my Freddy Kruegers. Remember the Nightmare on Elm Street with the big claw things coming out, because they do stick out a bit there, and you have to adjust your hand position for that. Over the years, somebody invented something that I ended up adopting, and this is what I use now when I use finger picks. These are called the Alaska picks. Kind of hold it up here so you can see the Alaska pick. Hold it to the side. There's the point down and point up against the background. The Alaska picks are a shape. These, unlike regular finger picks, go on top of your fingers, and they've got these little slots up on the top. You can actually cut that center little support to adjust how tight you want it to fit on your finger. They come in light and medium and in heavy. These are the mediums, I think. But just like my other picks, I label them 1, 2, 3. These are all the same size, and you don't have to mold them in the hot water, in the boiling water. But as you wear, because your fingers are at different angles, the pick will wear at different angles, and so I label them and then wear them on the same finger. That way I get a consistent feel each time I put them on. Now notice here, this goes over the top of the finger, but under the nail. Under the nail. This I really like, because now the pad of the fingers is open. I can still feel the strings just like playing without finger picks. And this going underneath the nail gives me a good, strong sound, but the feeling is as if I was playing with good solid fingernails. And like I said, my fingernails are pretty weak. So I just get these on and I kind of mash them into place so they're on my fingers good and secure. And then I've got my Dunlop pick, of course, the one that's shaped like the flat pick. And so this has been the best combination I've ever found for finger picking. There's some other stuff that leaves the pad open. I've seen those. I haven't tried them. And this works pretty well. So now, but I can feel the string. So if I want to mute something, in there hard like I can with the National finger picks, the one that go under, but I can feel the strings, which is a really big plus. Now, I've made one recent change in the last few years. I still like this, the Herco pick. I've got some mediums and the heavies, but my son he's a really, Christopher Levin West, you'll see his channel here on YouTube as well. He's a really good guitarist and plays a lot of other instruments and songwriter and everything. But he got me turned on to these Black Mountain picks. He was talking about how he got one of these. These are like a regular thumb pick, and they're shaped sort of like a regular guitar pick, but they have this spring thing on them. So now this means this clamps securely to your finger. Let me show you. Now, these, for example, this is a wear point right here. These will last me about 6 months, and then from the flexing of them, eventually it cracks and wears through, and you got to replace it and get another one, which is no big deal. They're not that expensive. But with this spring, this clamps down onto your finger and holds it very securely, and it feels really good, very comfortable, very natural, matches the curve of your thumb. And when I saw the ads for these, I was like, well, this might be, I mean, either too much tension, not enough tension. You know, the spring may be too tight, too loose, and maybe squeaky, make a noise, which would be good. But no, this is like perfect. Perfect amount of tension to hold this tight to your thumb. You can strum up and down with it if you wanted to. I still don't find that particularly comfortable, so I would just strum with my fingers if I needed to for up strums. But yeah, this comes in a little bit heavier gauge. They come in a couple of different gauges. This is the medium, I think, and it feels really good to my hands. Action, it really holds secure to your finger. I can really rip into this thing, and this thumb pick's not coming off. I have had the others fly off. You know, I've had to like be in the middle of a song and go pause audience, pop that thing back on, and go back in mid measure. The audience kind of gets a kick out of that if that happens, but it bothers me. I don't like that, and I want those things to stay on. And so this is the best combination I've come up with for finger picking. Now, some people may anchor their pinky and they don't want to use a third finger pick. That's fine. Whatever works for you. I like having all three fingers because I can use a more classical style technique with the finger picks, and that seems to work pretty well. So that's what I've got for finger picks. If you're interested, I'll put some links down the bottom. But the Herco picks are really good. The Black Mountain picks are my favorite now. The Alaska picks, find these are great. You'll like those. And the old Dunlops or Nationals, if you can find those, give them a try. See what you think about it. They all have their advantages and disadvantages, and this is what it appeals to me now. But I have used other stuff over the years. Let me know what you use and put your suggestions in the comments. Thanks for watching. If this is useful to you, please like, subscribe, and share this with somebody, and let's help grow the channel. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.